This is Ice Spice names. Okay. Have y'all seen this list, chat? We should probably talk about it a little bit, right? So there's a list been floating around. It's called the Top 10 Fell Off Rappers list. Yes, this is a thing. The top 10 rappers who fell off. It's been kind of going viral recently. Trying to see. Yeah, and this is the list, right? So the list of the top 10, the top rappers who fell off, and it says this is the top 10 rappers who fell off right here, right? Now, number one, they got Bobby Shmurda. Now, we're going to be objective, and we're going to try to have a discussion about each and every one of them. Did Bobby Shmurda fall off? I think especially if you believe that Bobby Shmurda is not as hot as he used to be, that's kind of clear. Now, I could shoot him some bail. He had some label issues when he first came out. Roc Nation was interfering with Epic. Epic wanted all their return on what they spent on keeping him on the label for all these years, and they gave him allegedly in advance. And that messy relationship between Roc Nation and Epic led to basically him going independent at the time. And once he got independent, he didn't have a song. The momentum had faded away. He didn't come with what the people wanted. So, yeah, fell off. Quando Rondo, did he fall off? It's kind of hard for me to say Quando Rondo fell off when I don't even think Quando Rondo was on like that. So if I was going to really say Quando Rondo fell off, it would be like from what? Right? We remember Quando Rondo selling 3,000 records. We do know him as a rapper. Like, of course, he does his thing. But a fall off usually means that you're at some type of potential peak or potential high, and you're falling off either to mediocrity or you're falling off to irrelevance. And I'm sorry, I just don't think that Quando Rondo has been at that peak that we could say he's fell off. I think he's still working to try to not necessarily get on, but really make his name as like a superstar, because this fall off conversation is never for like people who are like you were surprised they were on to begin with. Not saying that's Quando, but that could fit. Lil Baby, yeah, Lil Baby fell off. Lil Baby just was one of the top 2 rappers, if you ask me. I think there's a good case to be made that if we say right now the top 5 rappers, whether we're talking about skill or we're just talking about people who people are interested in or want music from, I could say Baby might not be in that. Now, did he fall off from top 5 or top 2 to like top 50? No, but you know, he's fell down the middle of the pack a little bit, you know, and that's all by his design. It's all by his, you know, spamming people with the same 2 type of songs till people got tired of it. Also, some of the narrative changed with some of his social media actions. So, yes, I would say Lil Baby fell off. NBA Youngboy, has he fell off? Good question. So, let's look at this objectively. NBA Youngboy, sales-wise, has declined. Okay? We could blame it on whatever, but we're going to have to admit, has declined. Has the music declined as well? I think it kind of has too. Just in reality, when it comes to just you thinking about NBA Youngboy and the type of music, I think sometimes people are feeling like it's drowning out and songs aren't sticking out as much. You could have a million excuses for that. He's now on a new label. They don't work it the same, blah, 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 this and third. Overall, are we going to say NBA Youngboy fell off? If you said it, I couldn't really give reasons to say he didn't. Does he still have a great fan base, a huge fan base? Yes. Was there a time where people would legitimately say he's in that top 3 or maybe top 4 along with Baby? Absolutely. Would people kind of have that discussion and actually have like an opposing point of view about it this time around? Yeah. Rich Homie Quan absolutely fell off, right? We don't have to do too much about it. And we're talking about him from 2015 till now. I think he was about to get back on, but I don't know what happened. I think it's because Young Thug and the Cleveland Ave goons kind of either had him terrified or that video leaked of him talking to the police officer, and people started looking at him if he was a cooperator. And keep in mind, he's the person who was being managed by Donovan Nut Thomas, which is one of the main reasons why his held is in court. And because of that, you know, he's always been in a weird spot because the guy who allegedly got killed by the other person he used to work with, or his gang, you used to be cool with like pretty much both of them, and you're not like the preferred person in this situation. Also, you're not in these gangs that Young Thug is in. Okay, Lil Pump. I think Lil Pump would admit that, you know, again, are we talking about fell off like how J. Cole said he was going to go broke, sell his home, this and third? No. Are we talking about Musically, if Lil Pump records a single right now and puts it out, we probably like it might even go without getting posted on a blog. Like people are just not that excited to hear Lil Pump music. So if we're going by that metric, that people used to at least give it a look. Now people don't want to give it a look. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So ironically, look like the only person I'm defending really so far is like Quando, right? Okay, designer. I think that's kind of self-explanatory as well. Yeah, the designer absolutely, you know, he took his foot off the ball. There was a time that he was being compared to Future. These days, he's been compared to sexual predators. Unfortunately, he was jerking off on the plane. This and third. DaBaby. Did DaBaby fall off? I'm actually gonna say no. I think DaBaby didn't fall off. I think DaBaby leveled out. DaBaby was hitting an all-time peak. I think it was unsustainable. Yes, he did. You could have said he fell off during that whole LGBTQ situation. Things were a little bit slow for him, but I got to be honest. When it came to DaBaby, over the last like couple of months, whether he have like I don't want to dance like like he's had a couple of songs, he's been popping up with verses. Like he's more seeming consistent right now than actually someone who fell off. So I'm gonna actually take him off the list. Roddy Rich, it's a puzzling thing trying to answer the Roddy Rich question because are people just not fucking with his music anymore, or is his music just not hitting, right? Or, some people believe it was his attitude towards the success he got, or maybe thinking that he had it made because he had a song like The Box. That's why he never kept his foot on the gas, or whatever the case is. But you have to remember, there was a time that we really legitimately thought he was one of the heavyweights in music. And not saying he's completely irrelevant, but things have cooled a bit. It's cooled a bit, definitely, right? And he's even admitted that a couple of times. I mean, I think every time you hear him talk now, he's talking about getting back in the dedication of the grind and everything else that got him the original hype, and that would be a sign of quote unquote falling off. Meek Mill, you just got to speak objectionably. Yeah, yeah. Meek, Meek, who sold 250 copies or 250,000 copies in 2018. Someone who, you know, whether it was championships or other records afterwards, just was a guy who always stayed with a big hit song. The only thing I would disagree with Meek is if we're really ranking these people, Meek ain't 10. Like, Meek would be probably like 3. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Meek used to be on a very short list of main rappers. Like, he was almost seen in the spot, again, not as Lil Baby, but seen in the spot where Baby was at for a slight second a couple times in history. And then it looked like he always fell completely out of the conversation, which was always kind of crazy. You know what I mean? He always fell completely out of the conversation. Yeah. And also, I do think some of the optics allowed Meek to kind of fall out of the conversation. So I'll say on this list, you could make a case for everybody that they haven't necessarily fell off, but there's a conversation of fallen off or fell back, right? Because some people could be like, well, you can't really judge NBA YoungBoy until he drops another album, because he's on house arrest, or you can't judge him till he's off house arrest. That might be a point. But again, we're just judging these guys based on what they've done before. And based on what they've done before, if stuff looks different, we're going to probably have to lean towards the side that says they fell off. You feel me? Somebody said take Lil Baby off the list. I would have Lil Baby down there like by like 8 or something like that. He definitely isn't the same, but is he still if you ask me, a top 10 type of guy? If we're just looking at it in stature and music, of course. So I guess the fall off would be like, yeah, you were number 2 or number 3, or some people would say number 1, and now you're like at the bottom of the list if we're gonna go with the top 10. You know what I mean? Mm. Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Listen, the Meek hate is getting ridiculous at this point. Somebody said Lil Baby and hey, we're not saying that Lil Baby is like Lil Pump. Like Lil Pump, I don't think Lil Pump could have a song chart on Billboard Top 100. I don't think so. You get what I mean? Yeah, like Lil Pump can't have a song chart. Designer won't have a song chart. Rich Homie Quan probably won't have a song chart. Neither Quan nor Rondo. And Bobby Shmurda, I think it's hit or miss, but most likely won't have a song chart. Lil Baby, he'll probably have his song chart. Young Boy will probably have his song chart. So when we're saying they fell off, it's just that we thought they were like in the top 3. And now, like, if we're going down in the top 10 list of rappers currently, they might be like 7th or 8th now. You know what I mean? So they fell out of the top 5. Is that falling back or falling off? I mean, you could decide for yourself, but you know what I mean? The technical term of falling off would be you're at some place and you fell off to another place. And, you know, hey. Stop playing with Quan. You said Boston Richie? I don't think Boston Richie fell off. You think Boston Richie fell off? Did he fall off? Let me see. I don't know. Let me click on his music video. He just dropped a video a month ago. 7 million views. How did he fall off?
Yeah. D.Coders.
Like, Boston Richie to me is like a really hood relevant, hood hot rapper. Like, that's about it. Yeah, he wasn't mainstream like that. He did drop a project. I don't know how much that sold first week, but no, it is what it is. All right. Anyway, yo, people, I do have to run. I'm sorry. I got to go handle a few things. And, yeah, I will be back on maybe later tonight, God willing. If not, I'll be back on tomorrow. We're still doing a whole bunch of different content. I have an opportunity to do a couple interviews with a few like Chicagoans, which it might, like, if you're interested or you watch me from the war in Chirac, you might put everything in perspective. So I'm going to try to get those done. And afterwards, I'm going to try to get back on here, hopefully to talk about whatever I didn't talk about, all right? Somebody said, talk about the Eminem diss. We'll listen to that later, all right? Okay, somebody said, shut the fuck up, Ak. You ain't going to be back tomorrow. No, I will be back. Okay.
Hardcore, shorty scan me like a barcode, heartbreaking, I go viral, they don't know me, so the same niggas smoking out the OZ, ice cold, type lit, and I might smoke, hydro, contemplating what I might do, white shoes, yeah, shorty, I just like you, but you type